So how did this man end up standing in the way of European defense integration? Poland's President Karol Nawrocki said, quote, "I will never sign a law that undermines our sovereignty, our independence, as well as our economic and military security." The law in question is SAFE, or Security Action for Europe, which is a €150 billion loan program from the EU, where 2 or more European countries can buy defense equipment together. What's funny here is that Nawrocki's veto, which in the end Prime Minister Tusk bypassed, was actually going to hurt Warsaw a lot more than it was going to hurt Brussels. Because SAFE as a program was designed to benefit Poland. And that is no accident. Poland was one of the architects of SAFE back when Prime Minister Tusk led Poland's presidency of the European Council. So why would Nawrocki get in the way of this? What's his incentive? He claims sovereignty. He's part of the far-right camp, which opposes integration with Brussels. But that's a political signal. It doesn't tell us much about the policy. At the European correspondent, the interesting question for us became, if Poland, a core SAFE member, could still see the far-right get in the way of it, what does that mean for other European countries, especially those with a rising far-right? And Applebaum, a leading journalist and expert on the transnational far-right, told us that one way to view the far-right in Germany, Austria, and Romania, for example, is unlike old nationalists that favored strong military, new nationalists, the new far-right, has deep ties to Russia and therefore favor European disarmament, which she says leaves Europe open to manipulation and even invasion. Over the past decade, the far-right and Russia have become one big happy family. France's National Rally took an 11 million loan from a Russian bank in 2014. In Germany, 2 top AfD candidates were stripped of immunity over financial connections to Russia. And Viktor Orban's think tank Outpost here in Brussels, which we've covered extensively, has funding links directly to Russian oil revenues. The Polish Foreign Ministry told us that SAFE is, quote, the largest investment fund in defense in our country's history. So surely every country wants that same reward, right? Well, it's not so clear. Take France. Marta Loremir, a far-right expert at Cardiff University, says the National Rally's position on SAFE isn't fixed, it's tactical. It comes down to whether they think they can gain more from playing along or picking a fight with Brussels. The politics supersede the policy, but the issue here is the policy is our security. And she says the far-right is not just the only problem. Defense is a core state power, and basically every government in Europe is reluctant to give any of that power to anyone else. So where does this leave a program like SAFE, meant to drive European defense integration? It's hard to say, but what we do know is that the European far-right is at its strongest since World War II. So after watching what unfolded in Poland, it's fair to assume that the road ahead to stronger European defense won't be a smooth one.